How's it going, everyone? This is Austin here. You can consider this my channel intro slash kind of what this is all going to be about. So, what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to go through the tutorial of Wizard 101. If you haven't heard of the game, it's a very old, I say very old, but early 2000s. An older MMO that holds a place in a lot of our hearts. I know it does for me personally. Really scratches that TCG itch, a little bit of the social itch as well, just a little bit. So as you see here, I have a level 1, fresh into the academy, and I'm going to try to recapture what this game's all about. So a lot of you who are watching this video most likely probably know what the game's all about, and kind of what it's devolved to over the years, which has really just been you run like a 7-card deck, you have a blade, you have a spell that hits everyone, and you kind of just do that, and then people get mad at you when you don't play optimally or you make a misplay. We're not going to be playing optimally in the slightest bit. A couple rules for this challenge, or this playthrough, I should say. We're going to start with a level 1. We're not going to have any pets. We have to upgrade to the max spell quantity deck for every level up, like within increments of 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. We have to play with the max number of spells. We can't remove any spells from our deck. And by that, I mean we can't like X them out by, clicking on them and trying to make our deck optimal. No. We are going to play with max spells. The only other stipulation, and I may change this later on down the road if it gets too obnoxious, but if we choose a spell to go into our deck, we must use the max number of copies in the deck that particular deck allows. So for example, starter deck I believe allows 3 copies of each spell. If I choose to run Storm Serpent, I must run all 3. Because, back when we played this game a long time ago, none of us had those 7-card decks where we guaranteed, Scarecrow turn 2 after a Blade or something. We didn't have none of that. All of us had a secondary school. All of us played suboptimally. And when we got a deck upgrade, we were super excited. We're like, dude, I can carry 20 more spells. Ignoring the fact that most of the spells we like to use were, Stormlord in this instance, and you only have 3 of them in the deck, so it's like, well, you're not going to draw it when you need it, but that's kind of part of the charm. It's the consistency part of it gets old. It's like, okay, cool, I'm going to Blade, and then I'm going to Stormlord. Or I'm going to Blade, and I'm going to Tempest. Or I'm going to Blade, and I'm going to use this one spell on you that one-shots you, and I've got the person in front of me that's going to faint, and all that stuff. No, we don't want none of that. We want to kind of enjoy the game for what it's worth. May end up deciding no side quest except for, of course, spell quest. One last stipulation: I have to choose a secondary school. Obviously, we're Storm, best DPS in the game, but I have to choose a secondary school. Maybe Life, but as a final stipulation, whatever school I pick, I have to stay with. So no, death until faint. No ice till tower and then life till satyr and we just get to pick the best spells. No. If I am Storm Life, I train all the life spells. That's all it is. So it's going to be a little whack. It's going to be a little fun. Probably going to get some people looking at me like I've never played this game before, and that's great. It's fine. That's what it's all going to be about. And also, no farming for quote-unquote optimal gear. So if I run Mount Olympus or I run, Waterworks, and because I may end up doing that just for the XP. Whatever I get, I get. Not going to farm it. Later on, this may end up being a requirement just based on the difficulty spikes you'll encounter later in the game. But for now, I'm going to say no, let's not do any of that. With all that said, That's kind of the intro to this challenge, kind of what I'm going to be doing. Um, and of course, goes without saying, obviously, first video. I am not too savvy on OBS. I'm not too savvy on a lot of the editing stuff. I'm doing this more as kind of like a side project, and also to kind of help boost my social skills at work. So that's kind of the purpose here. Also to have a lot of fun. So if anyone wants to play alongside me, that's fine. That's great. Ultimately, I would like to attempt to do this challenge mainly solo. I don't want to be carried. But any other feedback you have, let's just go ahead and fire it away. I'm very, very open to feedback here. May end up, changing some things on this challenge along the way, but ought to be a good time.